Hey guys, it's me, Keeds, Keatinator, Keatatron, Keeds and Crates. I got the Keeds. Whatever you want to call me, that is me. And you're watching the Sobe Pod, where we talk a little bit about cultural topics and also just share some experience of expats and travelers. So today's guest, I'm really excited. It's been like 4 years in the making, honestly. The last time you saw him, if you've seen him on my page, was maybe like 2020, I think. But he's back again for part 2, and we have Sir Happy here. Woo! And the studio goes wild.
Yes.
All right, so I'm going to introduce him, and then I'm going to have him introduce himself because maybe there's things that I forgot. All right, so we have Happy, TikToker, content creator, streamer. Are you still streaming, by the way?
I restarted recently.
Okay, great.
Actually,
So streamer, YouTuber, honestly, one of the OG YouTubers. What else? Relationship guru.
Is
that
I like talking
fashionable?
about it, but I don't know. Yeah, maybe.
I think so. All right.
I'll become one.
And F-boy. His words, not mine.
Yes.
Okay, his words, not mine. Happy. Thank you
Thank
again.
you for having me on.
Thank you. And Happy, if I forgot anything, please add them, tag yourself, introduce yourself to the cameras.
I think you covered everything pretty well
Okay.
now. Yeah, maybe
Awesome.
I might change the boy thing or F-boy. I don't know if you swear on. Do you swear or do you bleep things out?
I can bleep things out, so it's okay. You don't have to
You can bleep that one out.
Yeah. So wait, what do you mean you're going to stop calling yourself F-boy? Are you not?
Well, I think it was one of those things where, well, I don't know. What's your definition of an F-boy? Maybe, are we starting off with that right away?
No, let's not start that. Not yet.
Yeah.
Yet. But before we get there, because like I said, I met Happy a few years ago, but maybe you guys don't know if you didn't see the part 1. You don't have to pause and go watch it. You can literally just watch this. But to them, how did we meet? Do you remember?
I actually don't. I think the very first time I was like, my first true memory with you was on your podcast and like seeing you there at the studio that got flooded.
Yeah.
That place. So
R.I.P.
sad. But no, like, how did we meet again? The very first time?
The first time was on your YouTube, actually. You remember you had like the period,
Yes,
international
yes.
women. Yeah, so I recorded, it used to be your and Xander's studio, but mostly Xander worked out of it a lot. And I recorded there. Xander asked myself and my co-host at the time, hey, do you want to come on my YouTube channel for this international period women's topic? And I was like, okay. Didn't know you were going to be there, but Happy ended up being there. Clearly, he fell in love, both of us, myself and V, because we were super fun. And then we invited him on the pod, and that's kind of how it happened.
It's fantastic. It was fun.
Yeah. Great stuff.
You post some of the reels on the Instagram, and some of the comments are quite fun to read.
You know what? Anytime I post you, I'm like, I actually think, because I'm like, this is a while ago. I don't know if he still like agrees with what he says, and I don't want like comments to come for you. But I'm like, I think he doesn't care. Do you care? Okay, all right, good. So now I feel better. So yeah, that's how we met. And now I said we did a part 2. So let's move on from that. And we're going to talk a little bit about Happy now and like his childhood and how he was raised.
Why are you so effed up?
No. Well, I do want to learn a little bit more about you though, because I think that's important as to why like your views are on relationships and things. So can you talk to me about like your upbringing? Like how was your home life? Was you were strict, traditional, very lean back? What was that like?
I say for growing up in an Asian household, it was pretty lax. Like my parents didn't care about what I did for the future. Like there was no like pressure to
really?
Get like straight A's or anything like that.
Okay.
To be fair, I was also a smart kid, so I just got A's a lot. I think I got like maybe 1 or 2 B's in high school.
Yeah.
That was really bad actually, because in university you can't do that anymore, right? Like you actually have to, because in high school is easy. You know, for in comparison,
you're right.
Well, yeah. And then so a lot of the kids that cruise through high school and they never developed like studying habits and things like that, they'd like crash and burn in uni. And that's what kind of happened to me, which is why I ended up being stuck with an English lit major, because that was the only thing I could do. I could just talk.
Yeah.
I know how to write.
Like,
that's it.
I'm not going STEM. Give me a class that I know I can talk.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there are stories from back then, but let's rewind back. No, like it's good. I basically grew up in a single parent household though.
Okay.
Right. So my dad would stay in Hong Kong and work there, and my mom moved to Canada and then gave birth to my brother and I and raised us there on her own.
Okay.
But
okay.
So it was. Yeah, there was like a man missing in the household, but he took care of everything in terms of financially. So I grew up very privileged, very lucky. So I never really like wanted for anything. If I wanted something, all I had to do was justify it, and then my mom would be like, "Okay, that sounds reasonable," and then she would get it. She was very affectionate, very into. That's why like my love language is it's everything literally. So physical touch, like I'm really into physical touch, even with friends and things like that. Words of affirmation. She was really into like being like, say I love you. People need to hear that, praise and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, that's surprising.
Yeah.
And this might be really offensive. I thought in like Asian households, like that's
was
why
a thing,
I said, like,
right? Mine is very atypical.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Why do you think that your mom was so like forthgiving with like the love? Because I know a lot of my Asian friends say like, oh yeah, we don't even say I love you. So why do you think your mom was so like instrumental in making sure she was giving you that?
I never asked her, but here are my extrapolations.
Okay.
So she had a lot of pretty privilege growing up.
Okay.
Like we're talking about, she would be like catcalled and whistled at on the streets, and people would tell her she looked like the movie stars of that era.
Okay.
Right. So she always, the way that she moved around the world was to be kind to everybody, like overly kind and understanding and things. And a large part of that was because she was grateful that to her, like that's just how people were to her, right? So she learned that from how people treated her. It's like, oh, this makes me feel good, so this is how I should be treating other people. And so yeah, it's just that's just the way that she raised my brother and I to be that way. And then a lot of the people who hate me who watch this will be like, oh, that's just not what he seems like online. I just say incendiary things online for
value, like shock value.
Kind of. And yeah, all the other things too, gift giving, not so much gift giving. My favorite gift is cash, and because well, that's very Chinese of me.
No, but honestly, who wants to just give me money?
Just give me
the money. Give me a gift card. I'll take that too. Like, exactly. Unless I say I want this, just
right. But the problem is the things that I want are all super expensive. So just give me the cash.
Yeah, same. And I'll build towards it if it's not enough. Yeah, I feel the same.
I want to pay rent or whatever with
Literally.
it. Literally.
Okay, so you know what? That makes a lot of sense though, because I feel like I know maybe people don't know you in person. They're only seeing like this like character. I don't know if I want to call it a character, but like this persona that you put on. Right. In person, you are, I guess, like you go out of your way to be like friendly and like exactly how your mom, I guess, raised you and your brother.
Yeah. I don't want to toot my own horn, but I have a reputation, I guess. Yeah. It's one of those things where it's funny when people online are like, oh, this misogynist or oh, this like that. It's like, then why do I have so many female friends? Yeah. Like, I mean, okay, it's kind of like saying, oh, I can't be racist because I've got black friends. Kind of, it sounds like that, but at the same time, I have to be moving in a certain way and behaving in a certain way that makes women feel safe, to hang out and stuff like that. And so I just kind of laugh about it. And they kind of throw that word out nowadays without actually listening to the words. Yeah, but it's everywhere. I don't know. Yeah, I obviously have certain misogynistic tendencies or things that I say.
You do.
But I balance that out by being also a misandrist too. I hate men as well. Like I just point out the negative things that I feel are negative. Right. But certain of those things seem to not be okay to say now, not to to point out. So I don't know. It almost seems like any criticism of women from the viewpoint of what men feel should be criticized is automatically misogynistic, whether or not it is. Yeah. But because it's coming from a man, right? It's the same thing as like if nobody gets to beat on my brother except for me, kind of thing. Yeah, so if somebody isn't me, like if I was a woman saying those things, maybe they would take it as, but then they'd also be pointing at me like, oh, you're a pick me. Yeah,
for sure. You'd be called a pick me. But I mean, I've seen some of your conversations and your points. I mean, people called you both, I think, in your comments, like
it just depends on the video.
Yeah, it depends on the video, depends on the day, depends on all of things. All right, so I want to stay here on the childhood a little bit. All right. So I'm going to move on to young happy, right? So you're raised in a single parent home. Your dad was financially supportive of you and your brother and your mom. So how were you in school, like middle school, high school? Were you popular? Were you more introverted? How was young happy?
Young. So I actually was born and raised in Montreal.
Sorry, you're not old. Okay.
Thank you very much. Yeah. No, I'm old now.
No, well, you're 35?
Well, it depends I'm 30. Yeah, turning 36. Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, you're still young.
Yeah. But so I was actually born and raised in Montreal. So there I was like happy boy, you know, like I had lots of friends and very outgoing.
And this was what, like elementary time?
Elementary school
Okay.
all the way up till grade 2. And then I moved to Vancouver.
Okay.
And that was bad because, you know, kid uprooted, moved to a completely different place, no friends. Everybody already had their own friends, you know.
What age were you at this point?
I can't, like, what's grade 3? Like
9?
something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Plus number, right?
Okay. Or 8, 9.
Plus 6 years. I don't know.
Yeah, something like that.
But yeah, so I had to like kind of restart. And I think I was always slightly arrogant, always like in the sense, like if I knew something, I would like try to answer, or I'd be like, oh, I'm too smart for this class. Or whatever. And then I realized I'm not too smart for the class. I'm like, oh no, I need to humble myself.
Right.
Didn't say that when I was a kid, but yeah.
So were you the kid that was like answering or correcting the teacher where she was like, oh, this is this? And you're like, actually.
No,
I
wasn't that smart.
Okay.
No, I would. It was more like the kid that would like raise his hand to answer.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Right?
okay. All right. Got it.
And so that was really bad
Yeah.
when I did that the first time in a class, and I remember this, and I answered very confidently, and it was wrong. And that from that day on, I stopped raising my hand.
Yeah. Oh, I hate that. It knocks your confidence off so
It's
hard.
completely gone. Yeah. And that's like the story of my childhood. Yeah. I would feel like I was confident in something. I would do it, and then it would be wrong, and then I would shut down. But then I would.
Things are starting to connect.
I would then work to be really good at it.
Yeah.
On my own, without telling anybody.
Right.
Until it got to the point where I was good enough that other people would be able to see, like I would, the proof is in the pudding, you know what I'm saying?
And you couldn't be made fun of or like,
exactly,
because you know you're crap now.
Yeah. So that was kind of how it was. So elementary school was really bad. I made some good friends, you know, I had like maybe like 4 or 5 good friends, but like I wasn't like the popular kid or anything in elementary. And then when I moved into high school, I was like, I am not spending the next 5 years like this.
5 years?
Because in high school is 5 years in Canada.
8 to 12?
8 to 12.
Oh, okay.
So, because we don't have middle school. Well, Vancouver doesn't have middle school.
Oh,
Montreal
so
and Toronto
do
might.
elementary, high school.
Yeah, so it's like 1 to 7 and then 8 to 12.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so high school, you came in, you're like, no, I'm not going to be that loser.
Exactly.
You know? I'm going to come and I'm going to change it. So what was the thing that changed? Like,
nothing. You just got to fake it till you make it. You just have to put yourself out there and like talk to people and like, but I credit that portion of my life to how I am now. Like, because as a kid that's not the most attractive kid or conventionally attractive kid, not popular, you don't come in with a bunch of friends, you have to learn how to get people to like you, right? People that just automatically like you, right? So I had to learn like how to make people laugh, how to, you know, listen and then draw points from their conversation back. So like so subconsciously they're like, oh, he's listening to me and stuff like that. So yeah, I ended up becoming like kind of I wasn't like the popular gang,
right?
Like the stereotypical popular gang, right? But I was like the social butterfly in terms of like I could fit in every group. I had friends in every group.
Got it.
But I never belonged to like a single like popular people group.
Like you weren't in the core like jocks, but you were. Oh yeah, I know.
But I was friends with some of the like the basketball players or you know the you know stuff like that. But I was never like in the year when the yearbook pictures time came, it wasn't like they were like I was everywhere.
Yeah, like prom game, but you were liked and known
enough.
I would I feel like I was pretty the same. Like I was well known. I had a lot of friends, but I wouldn't consider myself like in the it crowd. But yeah, okay. So you know what? All of this starts to make sense now as to like why you have the views that you do. I mean, that's what your childhood usually does, right? Like we're all kind of molded by
we're the results of that.
Yeah. Okay. So it's your childhood. You graduated high school. You went to college. Got your degree in what was it again?
English lit.
I mean, I know you said you got that because your other classes were hard, but what was your goal with an English lit?
There was none. So this is what happened, right?
Goal with that?
So I went to UBC, and they're so weird because they're during our orientation or whatever, right? They're like, or it was maybe a rumor that I had heard. It was something was being passed around that our GPAs for the first 2 years would not be considered on the record. So
how does that work?
Right? So it would be like kind of like you could get whatever grades, it won't be held against you. Your GPAs will start to be calculated from the 3rd year onwards.
Why is it? Because it's only prereq classes and those don't matter?
Yeah, and the whole thing was like they want young people to be able to try and dabble in different, you know, classes and stuff like that, so they can learn about who they are and learn about what they actually want to do. So it's like, we're not going to hold that against you. Except what they failed to say was that only matters if you're going to pursue postgraduate at UBC. So obviously, if you're going to pursue it in other universities, they would count it. Yeah.
So you were just like, oh, I don't care. I have 2 years to basically not do anything.
Well, after the first year, that was bad. So I figured it out after the first year that wasn't the case.
Yeah.
But I had taken everything: math, economics, like computer science. I took fucking. I don't even remember. I just took a little bit of everything. I took visual art. And because they were like, oh, the GPAs don't matter, I would find a way to get 51% of the class and I would stop going to class. Because I was like, it doesn't matter. Right? So I went to a philosophy class where they didn't have a final. It was just, it was just,
whatever you've done throughout
whatever
the year.
you've done, that's what your grade. So I could basically, at the point, the moment I got 51%, I just stopped going to class.
But why 51? That's a fail.
Not there. 51 is a D. Like, you pass. 50
with a 51
is a fail. Like, I think 50 or below is a fail, but 51. So, but what happened was they don't fail you, but you still go under academic probation if you're under 55.
So, okay, let me try to understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
So 51, you're still passing, but you're still going to go on academic probation below 55. So technically you should want to be above at least 55. So you're not on academic probation.
So technically to be safe, you should stick around 60.
Yeah.
Right?
Which is a C?
Safe. Which is a C, yeah. Like a C minus or whatever.
Okay, C's average. But you were at 51, rocking it hard through.
Because I didn't give a fuck. Like, if it wasn't going to be held against me, I'm not going to keep going to class if I don't have to go to class anymore, right? It's just
but what about your last 2 years? The first 2 years, you felt like you had
It was only the first year. Yeah, because after the first year, when I got the academic probation letter, I was like, wait a minute, they care?
Yeah, they...
Then I was like, okay, I can't screw around anymore. And then... But by that time, what happened was, they also didn't tell you this, but you had to pick your majors. Like, your first year. Yeah. So really, they set me up for failure by telling me that I could experiment. You can't. Kids, you cannot experiment.
Yes, you can.
No, not if you want to be able to, not if you actually have certain goals.
Yeah.
Because then you have to take those prereqs first.
Definitely certain majors you can't mess around with. Like if you want to go to like the doctor or the nursing, you have to have a track from your beginning. But other ones,
biology and
but those clearly. But I think other ones, I think you not mess around, but you can kind of. I'd say your first 2 years, they tell us that in the States that we can kind of just do our prereqs, and then our junior and senior year we can really like buckle down, as long as it's not one of those like STEM major kind of things. Right. But in Canada, it's not like that.
I guess it kind of is like that, but the thing is, because I was all over the place, the only majors I could do without having to extend my time is philosophy and English. And I was really into philosophy, and I still am. But I was talking to people, and they're like, just go to English, because philosophy is just a harder English. Like, they're both just as useless.
No, I mean, your videos are kind of philosophical. Philosophical.
Yeah, but you don't have to have a degree for that, right?
That's true.
So, English, you don't have to really prove anything. You don't have any references other than the text. Whereas with philosophy, every argument you make has to be backed by some other theory or somebody else's, argument.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's just a harder English.
That's true.
So I just went to English.
Okay. Well, either way, you graduated. That's all that matters. You got your degree.
I did.
And then you came to Korea.
Yes.
At some point. I'm assuming, was there like a short transition, or were you at home in Canada trying to find a job and they're like, I'll go to Korea? Like, how long was that between college and Korea?
So what happened was, I actually extended an extra year. So this is how privileged I am.
Okay.
So most people, they want to graduate as fast as possible, get to the workplace. I was like, no, I want to go to Korea as a student first.
Okay.
To see what it's like, right? Because it's going to be hard to make friends and things like that if you go in straight as a teacher to work, right? So I just took an extra year in uni and went on exchange to Korea University in 2010 to 2011. Okay. And I loved it.
A full year. Okay.
And then I came back, graduated, and spent like 2 years just in odd jobs, things like that. I don't know why it took so long. But
you were kind of confused on what to do, right? So maybe that's why.
Yeah. But it was so long ago, I don't really remember. But it must have been that. It was like, do I really want to do this, or do I want to, So yeah, I did that. Or maybe it was my ADHD, because I have severe ADHD.
Oh, do you?
Where it was like, maybe I procrastinated on it. And then I was like, what the am I doing with my life here? You know, it's not like I'm progressing in like a career path. I was just doing like retail. I was like a commission salesman. I was like a manager at some food franchise, you know, and then I got moved up to like head office. But even then I was like, I don't want to sit in an office all day, like doing something I don't care about.
Right.
So I was like, I'm just going to go to Korea now, like follow my dreams. And then, so in 2013, I came back to Korea to teach.
2013. Yeah. Okay. So now we're in Korea, 2013, 3 years after post-grad. Or two-ish, 3 years. Yeah. You came as a teacher, and then you were doing that for not very long. From your part 1, I remember it was just a few months, maybe 1 year.
A year.
A year. Okay, and then how did you move out from teaching?
So Xander, my ex-YouTube partner, we were all in the same intake. And funny enough, we were in like a friend group during orientation, like the learning process of being a teacher. And he got stationed one district away from me, which was crazy. Everybody else was all over the city, but he and I, And the funny thing is, I was stationed at Korean University, so I had already I didn't have any acclimation period, because I already knew where everything was. 'Cause I was there for a year.
Just felt like normal.
Exactly, and he was close, so we hung out. And then there was one time where the fan group was gonna take a trip to Japan, and I was like, I don't really want to spend my money, you know. I don't care. I've traveled a lot before, and then they're like, "No, it's like its own time. Just come, come. You're gonna. It's gonna be fun. Just come. Don't be a fucking loser." And I was like, "Fine, I'll go. I'll spend the money and go." And then I had a great time, and he was vlogging at the time, and
not surprised.
He you know, I was good on camera, I guess.
He saw something in you, Happy. He said, "Oh, this."
Because I wasn't camera shy, I wasn't anything like that. And then when we came back, he suggested, let's do, because he knew I was a writer and, you know, all that kind of stuff. So he was like, let's try a video.
Yeah.
Right. And then the very first video we did was like the top 10 hottest K-pop girls in 2014. I think that was at the time.
Something, one of those.
And I wrote the script for that. We shot it. It went out. And at the time, his channel was about 1,000 subscribers. And that video got 14,000 views in like a few days to a week. Yeah. Okay. So he knew that something was here. Something was there. And then he was like, let's do a series.
Yeah. And then We Fancy was birthed, and we talked a little bit about it on part 1. So we don't really need to go into that. But I do want to ask, so you said, you know, like you kind of came here and you started doing the videos. Have you always been like really comfortable on camera and making content, being like social media-ish type of person, content creator?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Like that was really my first time being on camera. But because of how I grew up, I was always really into entertaining people. Like even before all of that, before coming here, one of the things I wanted to do was like write the next Harry Potter.
Oh,
like do something to influence a generation.
Got it.
Which is why I love teaching too. So the reason I came to teach was because when I came as a student, I had some friends that I had made who were like, yeah, I love English. Because, you know, they usually pair university kids who are like good at English with the foreign kids, like to help them out. And I had met like a couple of Koreans who had never left the country, but their English was fantastic. And it's because they were inspired by an English teacher they had when they were a kid. And I was like, yo, I want to be that to somebody,
that person.
And then I ended up being that for a couple of the kids. Like they wrote me letters and they were like, oh, I really didn't like English until you know, Happy Teacher. My name wasn't Happy then, but Happy Teacher came.
What do you mean?
It's not my real name. You thought Happy was my real name?
You have lied to me. I swear on. Why would I not think Happy was your? You've introduced yourself since the beginning of time as Happy. Happy.
Yeah.
What?
No, this is my stage name.
Wow.
But I don't tell people my real name.
I feel like the veil has been. What is your real name?
The reason I don't
Whisper it. You don't have to show the camera. I have to know. Now I know. I won't say.
Okay, wait. The reason I don't tell people my real name is because I don't want to even give them the option to be like, oh, should I call them by real name or whatever? Yeah. Because I don't like my real name. So that's one thing.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a very nerdy name.
I'll bleep it out. I'll bleep it out.
I don't even want to tell you.
No, I'll bleep it out. I'll like halfway close my ears.
No, I'm good. I'll tell you. I'll tell you after.
After, fine. Okay.
Or yeah.
That's fair. And I'm going to hold you to it because I'm going to ask you once as soon as we wrap up.
Yeah.
I'm not going to forget.
So usually the only people who know my real name are the ones from before YouTube,
Yeah.
and anybody that needs to send me money because they need to know my real name to get into my bank account.
Oh, I have to send you money, don't I?
Oh yeah, so you do. Okay, you're gonna have to. Yeah.
All
But,
right. So
yeah.
you've always been kind of comfortable being in front of the camera, but the first time you ever actually sat in front of a camera was with Xander when you guys started recording.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I was always really into like being fun, being loud, being
Yeah.
outgoing that way.
Uh-huh.
I wasn't camera shy the first time the cameras got turned on.
Mm.
But like looking back, it wasn't like I was great on camera. There was definitely like a ramp up of what it,
Decent, but got better
Yeah,
and better
I
and
still
better.
have problems like because right now it's different because I'm talking to you, so I can speak normally.
You feel comfortable here.
Yeah, but I still have like the presentery voice whenever I do something to the camera, which is not good for YouTube. I don't think.
I think
certain types of content.
I think I think it's maybe not good for TikTok. I feel like TikTok is more of like a personable, like people don't like that presenter. I think YouTube you can do a little bit more like
I think it depends.
Fancier.
Like if you're like on like challenges and things like Mr. Beast, then you kind of have to be loud. If you're catering to children, you have to be a little bit more. But if you want to be taken a little bit more seriously, or if you're vlogging, definitely need to be more personable and not as presentery. And I still put on a character because I feel like it's just more entertaining.
What is the character that you're putting on that you're referring to? Like if you had to describe this character that you're like, how would you describe this person?
Just loud, jokey, fucking up my facial expressions, being very like using
Animated.
body humor and stuff like that. Not exactly like what I'm saying, but more like how I'm behaving on camera, how I'm speaking is a little bit more animated than
in person
than now,
right?
For example,
that's true. But I would say you're still pretty animated. I mean, not clearly as much as what I've seen online.
But I'm like that in real life too.
Oh, like, I would say, I mean, the first time I met you were pretty animated. I think today you're a little bit more subdued, but I don't know. I think that's just, we're older now. That was 5 years ago.
I don't think so. I think it's because we're in a podcast situation. So it's chill.
We're in a podcast situation then.
Okay, yeah. So I think, So I have something where I turn on entertainer mode.
Yeah.
So if I go out to party, if I go out to events, I have entertainer mode on, and then I'll be a lot more like
extroverted,
right,
kind of thing. Yeah.
But
but now because it's just you and I, you don't feel like you need to. It's a normal conversation.
I feel like you're right. We've become older, we've become more mature, and this podcast isn't like a jokey podcast, like in my brain. So I don't feel like I have to like entertain. You know,
I get it.
But I'll still put on voices and things like that.
Yeah.
You know, from time to time, but. Yeah, that's just how it comes from. I think it comes from. There's definitely self-esteem issues going on.
Yeah,
for sure.
Okay.
It's like I don't think people will like me for just me, so I have to put on a show, not only for me but for them to make them feel more comfortable, to give them a good time when they're hanging out with me, so they remember that as Happy's the fun guy.
And that kind of maybe goes back to what you said, like when you were wrong in class and you put your hand up, and then you were like, "Oh, I'm fucked up." And now you're, you know.
But I combat that now by just saying
whatever.
Hard shit,
yeah, if you guys ever actually want to go down Happy's, any of his social media, his TikTok, his stream.
I have a podcast now too.
You'll probably hear what he's referring to of him just saying whatever comes to his mouth and not like blocking anything. All right, so let's talk a little bit about your social media because he did used to do the YouTube of more South Korea content, but now I feel like your content has shifted to more like relationship, sex talk. I've watched a few of your clips of your recent podcast, and it's definitely more sex oriented, right?
Yeah, for some of the guests,
oriented. I feel like for all of the ones I've seen, like every
all of them are
one,
relationship based, definitely.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So why did you shift into that like genre of content?
I think because I like watching that content too,
okay.
And you can have very strong opinions about that don't require any research. For example, if you talk politics, you have to know what you're talking about, right?
Have you seen the political people online? Yeah. But I get what you're saying.
But that's what I'm saying, right? Then people shit on you.
Yeah.
Like, no, you're wrong. You're getting your stats wrong. Like, you have to have numbers. You have to draw statistics and stuff like that, right? Otherwise, you're not really a very good political commentary. Like, you'll just be seen as stupid, right? And I like playing games, but like I'm not good enough at playing games to make a living out of it on YouTube and things like that. But I really like Reddit, those Reddit posts, and that's how I started my TikTok. It was because I was doing that in bed anyway.
Yep.
So I was like, hey, if I'm just doing that without being filmed, I don't want to just do it on camera.
Yep. Those
because it's fun. Yeah. And those ended up popping me off. Yeah. And so I was like, yeah, I really, and even in friend settings, like if we go out to drink or whatever, I really like giving people hypothetical situations. They're like, what about this? What do you think of this? Right? Is this cheating? Is this not?
Yeah.
Right? I just think it's super fun and it riles people up. Relationship content always draws commentary from or people to write comments because they're either going to agree with you or they disagree with you. So I don't know. I just love it to talk about it. Yeah.
I know that a lot of people, I don't want to say dislike it, but there's so many, like, I guess the podcast bros and like, so everyone's kind of like, it's so much going out there, but I do enjoy that type of content. And I'm going to actually bring up some relationship questions since you like to talk about relationships. I'm going to ask you some questions and I want you to give me your honest answer. I'm going to take a look
Always
at
honest.
That's true. Do you think opposite genders can actually like really be platonic friends?
Yeah. Yeah. And I say this all the time. Yeah. Because I have a lot of platonic female friends. As long as you don't find the other person attractive. It's always been that case.
But what if you do?
Then no. Because there's always a hidden current of if the girl is like, Happy, I'm really lonely. Can I suck your dick today? Or like, fuck me tonight. I'll be like, yeah. And then how can you...
Okay.
You know, well, actually, no, I kind of disagree because you can still be friends.
You disagree with what point?
I disagree with myself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You could still be friends even though you're open to that. As long as you're not, your behavior towards that person isn't reliant on you thinking they'll sleep with you sooner or later. So, for example, if I'm being nice to this girl only because I'm hoping that she'll sleep with me, then we're not friends because that's manipulative.
Okay.
That's bad, right? This is what like guys that complain about the friend zone do. I don't believe in the friend zone. I just think you're weirdo. Okay. Right? So, I mean, okay, there's one very specific scenario of actual friend zoning, but yeah, we can get to that later.
Okay.
But if I'm just open to it, but I'm treating this person like I would treat any other friend, then technically speaking, we are friends, just that I'm open to friends with benefits if it ever happens. But I'm not like actively pursuing it.
Got it. So.
But do you agree with that? Like, does that mean that the friendship isn't pure if that possibility is there?
No, I think in any relationship, any type of possibility is open. I used to think guys and girls can be friends. I don't know if I believe that now. Like I wouldn't go out and say like, oh, I'm hanging out with a guy friend and just think we're friends. I used to.
Interesting.
I don't think that way anymore.
I think most men cannot because most men don't actually like women.
Yeah.
But I love women. Yeah. I love women more than I like men. Really.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Because a lot of it has to do with I want to understand, because I'm not a woman. I'm a man and I understand almost all men.
Right.
So it's boring.
Yeah.
Because we all like exactly the same things or we usually talk about exactly the same things, right? There are very few guys that are like women, money, career, cars. I don't like talking about cars, right? I'm a nerd, so it'd be different. Like gamer guys could be cool, you know, and fun. But in general, it's like just like homies, right? There's no real curiosity there. Whereas with women, they're just so different, you know? And there's usually more, and women are more supportive.
Yes, they are.
They're more verbally supportive. And also, women lie.
What?
I'm not gonna, and this is very,
men lie.
You get to clip
lies.
this.
Humans
Here's the
lie.
thing. Women lie and because they feel like it's a good thing to lie. So for example, if I'm like, do I look good in this? Even if I don't, they'll lie or they'll say something in order because the result of making me feel supported is more important than the truth. And that's what I've been told by women. It's not like me going, this woman, right? Whereas men are like, no, I don't care about your feelings. Like you look bad in this, go change.
Okay.
Right?
But you think men are just more direct in their anything? Like their approach is a lot more direct than women?
More like there's the one type of lying where they're doing it because they're being selfish and they're being a bad person, right? And then there's the other lie, which is for somebody else. They feel like it's a positive lie.
Okay.
Men don't tend to do that unless there's some manipulation behind it. Right?
Okay.
So they'll lie in order to get something.
Got it.
Which is negative lying, technically, right? Or like if they like a girl, they don't want to piss her off, they'll lie to make sure she feels good about whatever.
So he can
Whereas the women, it's less about them and more about, I need to make sure you feel supported. I need to make sure you feel heard. So even if I disagree with you in the moment, I won't, you know,
right. I understand.
Put that out there.
Okay.
Which I think is okay, but you have to admit that you guys are lying. You know?
Oh, I'm not. I would never not admit that women don't lie. Women lie.
Right, but online they're like, when I say something like that, it triggers people. It's like, what do you mean?
Sure,
you know, but I say that
dragged.
in order to, you know, I don't have to say it like that.
Yeah,
but,
you like the shock value. If you guys already don't know, Happy does a lot of the things just for shock value. All right, about household. If you were in a relationship, a lot of the conversations online is like the 50-50, the blah, blah, blah. How do you feel about household chores? How should that be divided? Is it the women's job? Is it the men's job? Is it partner? Like, let's do it together. What do you think?
So I'm a super simp. So
what's a super simp?
So I believe, okay, so ideally, obviously, for me, I would love it. I would love to be a sugar baby. I would love to my wife to pay for everything and be the breadwinner.
No.
You know?
Okay, let me go ahead.
Yeah, I would love that. Ideally, I would love that. I would love to not have to do anything and be pampered and be the queen, to just be able to do whatever I want. Basically, I would love to be the flip. Right? Usually it's the guy that's a billionaire and all the chores get hired out by maids and stuff or staff. And the girl could just go shopping, do whatever they want. Like, that's the ideal stay-at-home wife. Not a stay-at-home mom, a stay-at-home wife. Just chill.
Okay.
But for me,
yes,
I feel like I should pay for everything. And not only that, like, I feel the other way. If I love somebody, why would I want them to have to do anything? They should just be able to chill.
Okay.
So like, I'll cook. I hate cleaning. So maybe that she might have to do, or we have to hire out for it.
Okay.
Right? But it's not because I feel like, oh, it's not fair, you're not doing anything. It's more like I just hate doing it. So I don't want to do it.
So let me make sure. So you are saying that you would take care of financially 100%.
Yeah.
And you are okay with hiring someone else to do it.
Like, I don't believe in fairness.
Like the household, like the chores.
Yeah. I don't believe in equality.
Okay.
I believe in, I want to take care of you because I love you.
Got it.
And hopefully you feel the same way back to me, so we never have to deal with this. Who does this? Who does that? Because I think that's stupid. Don't be in a relationship then.
Okay, so you're not 50-50. You are, I want to take care of you. I want to do all these things for you because I love you. If
I had the ability to do it, ideally, then it would it would be either one-sided the other way or the other. Yeah.
Okay. So you either want to be a full sugar baby or you're going to be the man and take care of everything. There's no in between.
It's like the ideal. Yeah.
There's no 50-50.
So if I don't have the ability, like if I don't have the ability to be the sugar daddy, then I would want to be the sugar baby.
Okay.
But in reality, right, if I don't make it in either of those cases, then 50-50. But it wouldn't be like, oh, we have to do 50-50 because it's fair. It's more like, we have to do 50-50 because we have to, because we can't afford it. You know, like, yeah. But this is why I don't date.
Why?
Because I can't afford it.
What? Okay, so I actually saw somebody ask that question the other day. They were saying, should you date if you are broke? So you don't think you should be dating if you're broke?
No. I think you should be dating if you're broke. Then you should only be dating people who are okay with dating broke people. If you know what I'm saying.
So you should also date someone that's also not financially stable. Is that what you're saying? Like two non-financially stable people should date each other. Is that what you're saying?
More like you should be super open about being broke so that you're not debating someone emotionally into falling for you. And then you're like, I'm broke. You pay for everything now. And because emotions are human, it's not easy to just be like, get the out of here. Right.
Okay.
It's like that. So,
but for you, you're like, I'm not financially stable enough, so I'm not dating.
Yeah, because I'm also going for the types of women that get kind of money thrown at them. Yeah. Right. So I don't even want to put my glove in the ring because there's no point in my head. Right. Of course, I might be missing on people who look that way, but who don't care. And they might just like, but I have never met one person like that yet, at least in Korea. Right. Right. At that level of looks and whatever. Because like you could see them, you could see it from their Instagram feeds, what they're interested in.
Got it.
Right.
So if this is the type of woman that you typically go for, the women that are like, and this is his words, not mine, the 10s, the models, and you're not there yet in terms of the finance, like, so are you okay with being single for?
Yeah.
indefinitely? Like, what if you never attain the level of wealth that you think that you need to get these type of women? Like, would you just not be with anyone?
Yeah.
But you want love, Happy. Why are you like, so why, okay, so why do you feel you only like this type of woman then?
It's not that I only like them. It's just that I'm only attracted to them.
Okay.
Right. So, and you can't really choose your attraction.
No,
you
can't.
It's just the way it is. And I've been, unfortunately, I have been in a situation where I've been spoiled.
Yeah.
Because of social media, because of maybe the way I look, or like when I was younger, and when money mattered a little less. But it was more like I was attractive to that class of people.
Yeah.
And now that, you know, it's really hard. Like your brain, my brain, right? It just can't switch off that way. So I just don't feel attraction. But maybe it is because I'm in this environment. Yeah. Like when I move to different cities and stuff like that, I guess my standards change to the locals. I don't know if it does. I haven't really traveled and left Korea in the recent years. But it's just like an addiction. Yeah. Right? And so I've just kind of given up in that sense.
No, you've given up on love, on relationships, on marriage.
This is why I watch romance porn, which is like K-dramas, right? K-dramas are romance porn.
What is romance porn?
It's like I loved Queen of Tears so much because I was like, oh my God, the characters love each other so much. So much. And I was like, I want that. But I'm like, I'm never going to have that. Yeah.
That breaks my heart that that's where you feel.
But the beautiful thing is it's that like it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to not be okay. My Love from the Stars or something. That one.
I don't really watch it, but I know that other
all
one.
the Kim Soo-hyun ones, right? So I like the dramas where the girls aggro, where the woman is like, I really like this guy. I'm gonna get him, and that's what I'm saying. It's like for me, the reason I give up is because I don't have the resources to chase or to show first. But like. Which is what I haven't given up. Like if a girl shows interest and she's my type, I'm not going to be like, no, I can't afford you.
Right.
Because she's obviously showing interest first. So it might matter less.
I get it. Right? I get it. And I think that's what a lot of women say. Like if a man knows he can't, we're not on the same level. Like, why are you even
Don't even try. I think it's rude. I think it's disrespectful.
I get it. I mean, I understand, but I think where I was just like, oh, it was when you're like, I just don't even care. Do you want marriage?
I don't care. If she wants it, cool. If she doesn't, like if she doesn't mind, then no.
But what do you want though?
I just want long-term love. Like
okay.
The piece of paper, like the legal status doesn't like I would get married for a visa, like for visa purposes, for legal purposes for that. Yeah. But like I'm fine with doing like, for example, if she doesn't care about the legal proceedings of it, I'm fine with doing the wedding ceremony, the celebrations of love, you know, but what I care about more is loyalty because like look around, like if you could just get divorced whenever you want to, then what is the point of the vows? They don't mean anything. Marriage doesn't mean anything, right?
Hot take. I disagree.
Marriage is like your declaration of love at that moment, but people still cheat, people still abuse each other in the marriages, people can get divorced, no fault divorce, so they could be like, I fell out of love with you, bye. Crazy, right?
Yeah.
And so if you're allowed to do that, what will make you want to fight for it? Right? What is the difference between being super in love and like loving each other, caring for each other for 70 years without the wedding ring and with the wedding ring?
Are you asking me this question or are you just posing that question?
You and rhetorical.
And the people that agree with me. I think marriage is more than, I know people like to throw that around. Marriage is a piece of paper. Like literally everything that we have is a piece of paper. Your passport, like your driver's license, everything is just a piece of paper. But these papers matter, right? I want to raise kids, if I choose to have them, in that same environment of the benefit of two parents in the house.
Okay.
Go ahead. What are you going to say? Finish it. I can already see your face.
But none of that is marriage.
What do you mean?
That is just two people living, like you don't have to be married to do that.
You're right.
Right? That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. You can have everything that you just described.
Yes.
Without the legal marriage.
Technically single.
Technically single or co-living or whatever it's called.
You're single until you're married. So, but I get what you're saying. You can still do the whole like marriage aspect, but not be together. Well, I guess I value being a wife and I value being someone's wife before I would ever, like I would never be a mother before I'm a wife. Like if I never get married, I will never have a child.
Right. But that is more to protect yourself. Right? Like, so if you end up with the wrong guy, you get something out of it. Like the law protects you.
Okay.
Right? If you get divorced, you get half if you don't make as much money as he does, right? Or you get alimony, or you get child support or something. Like there's a punishment for him being the wrong partner.
But I never was looking at it as in terms of punishment. I wasn't looking at like, oh, if we divorce, like I can take all his money. Like that was never the thing. It's just I value
then what makes it so that you don't want to have a kid until you're a wife? Like, okay, how about this? I pose you this question.
Okay, I'll listen.
If this guy, if you meet this guy, he loves you.
Okay.
And he is like, I want to be with you. I want to have a child with you.
Amazing.
I don't want to get married.
No.
But the moment we have a kid together, I'm putting $5 million in your bank account. And I'm saying to you, I will never leave you.
No.
But what's the difference?
Then what's the difference in marriage then? Why? Like why not?
Because maybe he's worth $350 million and he doesn't want to deal with the legal side of things.
Well, then we're not meant to be. That's okay. Then our views and our values don't align, and that's okay. You know, like I think I would be wasting my time if I just took the cop out of saying, oh, I'll take $5 million, but losing out on a big thing that I truly value. Our values don't align. And so I would just say, hey, cool, not going to work out. Thanks.
But this is somebody who's like, okay, I'm going to add like, this is your ideal guy. And the only thing different is the status of marriage. Everything else you get exactly what you would dream of in a marriage, but you don't get marriage.
But then it's not everything I dream of.
So that's what I'm saying. No, but that's what I'm saying. So basically it's really just the title then. That's what's important. And to me, the meat is the important part, not the title.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's you can still call each other husband and wife and just never get married.
But you're not. So you mentioned, am I the asshole earlier? You like to do, that's kind of how your TikTok kind of blew up.
Right.
So I'm going to give you a couple of like scenarios, and I want you to tell me the time when you were the asshole in this situation. Okay. So when were you like a really big asshole with a friend? Think of a time where you're like, damn, I really effed up that friend. Like, what was that time?
Yeah, I don't know if I want to talk about this.
No,
it's really,
you said you are an open book. I literally sent you that message today, and you're like, hey, I'm an open book.
Yeah,
you don't have to tell me the worst one. Tell me the second worst, unless they're all really, really bad, and that's, oh God.
I don't feel like, I don't feel like I'm an asshole. That's what I'm saying. If I'm ever an asshole, it's like really bad, because otherwise,
when was
I
that
don't
time
really,
then? When you can think, you're like, oh man, yeah, that was that.
Yeah, that was 2 years ago, something like that. It was really the only time I ever lost a friend because of me.
Extend?
Yeah. No. It's somebody else. Yeah. No, Xander has a friend.
Oh, is it Xander?
No. Oh, I thought you were whispering Xander. Is it Xander?
No,
I was like,
I didn't say Xander. No. No, you're at his wedding. I just saw you speak at his wedding.
Yeah. It was over a girl. Yeah.
The girl.
Other than that, no, it's like I treat my people really well. So again, because of the way I grew up, right?
With
it's
your
like
mom.
You should treat people the way that you want to be treated. But I think most recently, I've just been being, I don't want to say I was an asshole, but it's more like I've stopped sugarcoating things with this one person, but it's because it's not getting anywhere. Like being too nice and too supportive has been enabling almost.
Okay. I get
so
that.
now I'm being an asshole because they need a little bit of like a not a little bit, a lot of bit,
tough love?
of some tough love, some reality,
Yeah.
And maybe, if that person still wants to stay delusional, then that's up to them. But at least I can say I did my part to try to get them out of it. But is that being an asshole though? Not really, right? Like the
Depends
intentions
on who you
are
ask,
good,
I guess. But yeah, for in terms of who you're like, I'm being honest. I get that. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I guess it just depends what you define as being an asshole to your friends, right? I'm like, again, maybe because of self-esteem issues, I'm a people pleaser, right? I don't burn bridges. So, okay, that is probably the biggest asshole thing for me. I don't choose sides.
Oh.
So I'm not supportive in that way.
You're Switzerland.
I'm supportive as in I will be your friend and I'll be your friend. And I have nothing to do in between. If this person is an asshole to you, you can choose to not be friends with them.
Oh, no.
But this is my friend who is a separate life than you. And I'm not going to drop this person for you.
So, for example, you have a best friend, right? your best friend and another friend don't like each other,
Mhm.
you're not choosing sides. You're just going to be like, no, I'm going to be both of their friends.
I think for me, if it comes down to that, it would be how much value does this other person bring to me,
Okay.
right? Like if it's like a whatever friend,
Mhm.
then whatever,
Mm.
right?
Mhm.
But if it's my like best friend,
Yeah.
you know, but at the same time, it's like, it's not really fair on that friend's part
Yeah.
to do that, right? To control my life because they don't like somebody else. And the thing is, I treat other people that way too.
Mhm.
Like I don't expect people to drop other people for me.
Mm.
Because that would be, sounds to me kind of narcissistic, no? Like you can't be with this friend because they're mean to me or they're an
Yeah.
asshole to
Right,
me.
right, I understand.
Now it'd be different if they did something like murder somebody that I loved, right?
Or-
Or they like
or-
stole a bunch of money
Yeah,
from me,
right.
because then they're not a trustworthy person in
course.
general to
Mhm.
that friend, right? But if what that person did will not translate to this friend, like it's not something that they could do to this friend,
Mhm.
then they can still be friends.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair.
So,
I think
yeah.
we're pretty.
But that's my
even on
biggest
that.
asshole thing.
Let's move on to your rapid fire, Happy. We're wrapping up. Please don't take too long on answering these. Just the first thing that comes to your mind.
Okay.
Okay. Favorite movie right now, if you're going to go and turn something on.
Oh my God.
3, 2. Don't make this difficult. 2,
Ugh.
1.
It's still Gladiator.
Gladiator. Oh, that's a solid choice. All right. Favorite artist.
Like singer?
Music.
Louis. No, I don't want to say Louis Capaldi. That was my first
Louis
thought.
who?
Louis Capaldi.
Oh, Louis Capaldi. Okay.
Yeah.
So Louis Capaldi still?
Yeah, because it's the first thing. I don't get to
Okay.
withdraw it. Yeah.
That's fair. Who do you text the most? Who's on your phone the most? Or who do you call the most?
My brother.
Your brother.
My brother, yeah.
He's your older brother, no?
Younger.
Younger, okay. What has been your favorite age? We talked about your childhood.
Oh.
What's been like your favorite? You're like, damn, that was a good year.
Oh, 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Before the friendship went to nothing.
Oh no,
Yeah.
that friendship really shifted.
I fucked that up. Like this was me. Like I take full responsibility for
Oh,
what happened.
man.
Yeah.
It was over a girl.
Like if anybody
Uh.
saw the story and knew the story, this is why I don't want to tell it, because I'm so ashamed of it.
Yeah.
Right. I have justifications for it
Mm.
and explanations for it,
Mm.
but at the end of the day, I was
You
the
made
one
the
who
mistake.
It wasn't a mistake. I mean, the definition of a mistake as in, oh, I didn't know and I tripped
Yeah.
up. That's no. A definition of
Okay.
a mistake as in I didn't really think things through that
Right.
well. Yes,
Mhm.
it was a mistake in that definition of mistake.
Mm-hmm.
But then a lot of things happened afterwards, and I was like, was it a mistake?
Hmm.
We'll never know.
Well, did
We'll
you
never
learn
know.
anything from that?
Oh yeah,
What'd you learn?
that I'm just never gonna do that again.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm never even gonna put myself in that position again. Yeah.
Okay. If you were given a chance to start your life over again,
Yeah.
would you take it?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Why?
I think the only people that would say no are the people who are super freaking privileged, or they've gotten to a spot where it's like their life is like
Really?
to the stars. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Absolutely. Absolutely.
What do you think you would change?
I would start social media way earlier. I would start
Okay.
like investing and saving money
Yeah.
and all that kind of stuff way earlier. I would not give a fuck about like making friends or anything like that in high school and elementary, because those people are transient. And, like I'm not saying I don't care about those people anymore, but like, to be honest, like they're not in my life anymore, technically, right? Like, we talk from time to time and we still have like past memories and that connection of being friends for so
Right.
long. But I would definitely not give a fuck about people who aren't in my life anymore,
Yeah, you wouldn't
right?
put
Like
too much
literally
effort.
only the small group of people that I'm friends.
Yeah.
I wouldn't care about what people say or
Yeah.
think.
Mm.
I would go vertical in terms of like learning things and
Mhm.
getting good at skills and stuff.
Mhm.
Pick one thing and just be really good at it.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't even think about women until I make it, that
yeah.
kind of thing. Because there's no point. It's such a waste of time,
Yeah.
and resources. And I'm
Agreed.
not saying relationships are
No,
a waste
I
of
know.
time and
I know what you
resources. But if I was to restart, then it would be a waste of time and resources.
Yeah, you would be more focused.
But as a normal person, you
Yeah.
have to go through that developmental stage and learning
Mhm.
what other people are, human beings of their own. They're not just accessories to your life. And,
Mhm.
you got to learn how to talk to women, as
Okay.
people and not
Yeah.
because you're just trying to have, sleep with them, stuff like
Yeah.
that. People need, I don't think enough men go through that developmental stage, which is why they're still stuck like that,
Yes.
in their adulthood.
That's true.
But if I can retain everything, I don't have to
Yeah.
learn that again,
Yeah.
So
And then you would
yeah.
actually take a college course that mattered to you.
I wouldn't even go to college.
Oh, you would skip the whole college?
Yeah,
Fair
because I would
enough.
just make money with a business, and social
That's
media
true.
before.
That's true.
Yeah.
Last question. What do you think people misunderstand about you the most?
This is a good question. I think they just the whole misogynist thing. Yeah. They think like I like hate women. I'm like okay with like sexual assault and stuff like that. It's like,
is that what they say to you?
What? Yeah, they're like, and you know, even in the comments of the things, in some of your Instagram reels, right? They're like,
on mine?
Yeah. They're like, oh, here's the misogynist again. And I think there was one comment that was like, why are we giving this vile little man a platform? And one. Like, what is so vile about me? Probably the things that you hear and you're like, oh, I don't agree with this, right? Or I call women bitches, but I call men bitches. Like bitches is not like a derogatory, like a sexist term to me. It's just like dude, bro. Like, you know, I call girls bro. Does that mean I'm calling them men? No. Yeah. You know? And I don't mean bitches as in like, you know, I get sometimes it. I mean bitches when I mean bitches.
Okay, Cat Williams, times, we get it. I think you mentioned something.
Oh yeah, Cat Williams.
I think so.
But I think that's probably the biggest misunderstanding. But at the same time, I don't care. Yeah, because these are not the people I'm trying to impress. Yeah, right. Like the people that the reason I operate the way I do is because I want a fandom or I want a community that likes that about me. You know, that can see past it and be like. You know, most of my fans are women.
Surprisingly.
Right? On TikTok, it's mostly men, actually.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, because of the content. Yeah. But all the people from before are women. Yeah. Right? And they know what I say. They still support, like, the videos that I make and things like that. It's because, you know, here's what it is, yeah.
All right, you guys. Well, there you have it. Happy. I'm going to wrap this up. You can look into that camera. I like Sean Evans, sorry. Tell people where they can find you. If you're plugging anything, are you doing anything? Now's your time.
So for those of you who are into Korean content, I am rebooting the big channel now. I've changed the name, the branding. I have a new partner. But that will be in summer. We will start releasing our content in summer because we're building a backlog. If you want a little bit more racy topic podcast, as Keeds has mentioned, I like to, like, for example, one of the episodes I interviewed Elle Lee, who is a big porn star OnlyFans girl. And I don't make the guests look stupid like Fresh and Fit does and whatever podcast does. Yeah. If you are into that, my next episode is actually going to be with Edward Avila. Yeah. Okay. So I'm having him on again. That's like next week, I think. TikTok, I don't really want to invest in TikTok anymore because if it gets banned in America, there goes my entire viewership. So, but we'll see if it gets banned. But everything will be in the description, right?
Yes. All right, guys. Thank you for joining in and catch you guys on the next one. Bye.
Bye.
Sorry. Did you ever do the Hogwarts house?
No.
No?
What? Oh, like getting the thing?
Yeah. What is it?
I don't remember. Yeah. I'm a Slytherin, probably.
Of course.
Probably.